Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin made it clear there will be consequences for the deaths of U.S. soldiers in Jordan. And while he did not go into details, multiple targets are being considered. Officials say the campaign could last weeks, involving military strikes and cyber operations. Joining me now, Ben Rhodes, former Deputy National Security Advisor for President Obama. Ben, help us out here. Secretary Austin mentioned taking away even more capability from the enemies in the region. What does that mean?
Well, look, you have this range of groups that cut across Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and obviously into Iran. They're different militias with their different interests. They all have kind of a shared ideology of resistance to the United States presence in the region and opposition to Israel, and obviously support for Hamas in the conflict in Gaza. And they all draw support from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, that is the main tip of the spear for Iran's efforts to support militias across the region. I think what the U.S. is looking at is efforts not to strike inside of Iran, which could potentially precipitate a real regional conflagration, which could lead to a war of unpredictable costs, consequences, and duration, huge costs to U.S. service members, huge costs to the global economy. The question is, how do you disrupt this network in ways that protect U.S. service members that are stationed in the region and try to back these groups off from the kinds of tit-for-tat strikes that we've seen on U.S. service members? And so that could be strikes directly on these militias, particularly in Iraq and Syria, I think, but also on the supply nodes, the places where the IRGC is providing them with weapons, providing them with support. I think you could see the U.S. targeting that kind of infrastructure. Again, it's carefully calibrated. So how do you impose a cost and try to defend our military assets in the region and our service members without getting into that bigger war that I think neither the U.S. or Iran really wants?
There has been over 160 attacks on our troops in the region. Should we have responded sooner, more forcefully?
Well, look, there's been a conflict in the region for a long time. And the reality is there's been a regional war, but it escalated dramatically after October 7th. And those attacks come from a variety of different groups. And so it's not like you can say that there's like one headquarters that we're going after. They draw support from Iran, but I frankly do not believe that Iran is directing every single one of these attacks either. In some cases, these are groups that Iran provides money or weapons to, but the groups have their own independent agendas. The groups in Iraq, they want to draw the United States into a conflict in Iraq as a way of turning the Iraqi government against the United States, right? So the United States actually is being baited into a conflict that then makes it harder for the U.S. to do what we need to do in Iraq to support the Iraqi government against ISIS. So it's very complicated. And the reality is some of these attacks are more significant than others. Some of it is with pretty rudimentary technology. Some of it's more severe. The basic point, Stephanie, though, is that the reason this is escalating is because of the conflict in Gaza. So the United States doesn't really control the circumstances that are driving the escalation. And it's like if you're like the big kid and you're getting somebody who's trying to draw you into a fight, you don't necessarily want to give that person the fight that they want. These groups want to show that they're getting the United States involved, that they're trying to bloody our nose. What do we have to do to back them off and protect our forces without giving them the kind of bigger war that they want, where they can show that they're at the vanguard of standing up to the U.S. and Israel, they're involved in the conflict in Gaza? That's where you have to calibrate it. And so I don't think it's as simple as saying, well, we should have gone full bore after all these groups from the beginning, because frankly, that's what some of them want. And they know how to go to ground and they know how to survive in that kind of environment. The Houthis in Yemen, for instance, have survived a conflict for years. We have to do what's in our interest, and it's not necessarily to get into a bigger war.